Hello, my Teaserking family. I am very sorry I lost connection. Very sorry I lost connection. So we were talking about comex and then a gold standard, and the question was, what if we, does the price have to be fixed? And I think it could be variable. I'm not sure if you could use fixed or variable. Uh, Initially, it was fixed at a time at like 35 an ounce. But I don't see any reason you can't have a variable price for gold backed currency. It just means that the currency, I want $100 worth of gold, will just change. But I think you should be able to use a floating gold price for the dollars. So, in other words, I can make $1 billion because I have $1 billion worth of gold, and now it's worth $2 billion. So I can print another billion. So I think that's all we need to do. So I'll wait a second for the family that was on the first video. Again, there's internet connections, Spectre's doing things on the internet. It's just fucking me up. But all I can do is, if it freezes on me, all I can do is I dismiss and then I do a new one. Just FYI. So if you see it freezing, I'm going to come right back. So just a footnote. And anyway, so again, don't watch Mr. Fuji. He really is pretty poor at what he does. So this guy here, Mr. Fuji. Okay, so what's the point of his silver prices? 130 Japan, 106 Kuwait. First of all, why are they different? Right? There shouldn't be different. There should be one price. And secondly, he doesn't know what a market is or anything. So anyway, just stay away from that guy. I don't like that he's on all these different um, channels. He's on like 20 channels. I hate that. Why did they change this format? It was so easy. Now I got to look different places. Okay, so let's go with tomorrow's games. We got must win playoff game, Tampa, Carolina, Tampa 343.5. Hasn't changed. We got Young. Now Baker has injuries to his right shoulder and some knee injuries. So he's banged up. They're not scoring a lot. They're both under teams with 23 defenses. Play against Tampa this year is 13-3. Now they've been hot to play on. So very surprised there. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Carolina in the 9 and or maybe an under game because Steve Young's not going to do shit. Carolina, they seem to both have some decent defenses, although Tampa has been pretty weak. But in a game like this, theoretically it should be a dog game and an under game, but I can't trust Steve Young at this point. Seattle 49ers, Seattle's 2.5, 48. I'm going to say 1.5. And I think it's 47.5. Let's go to scores and odds because they have more casinos to look at. Yeah, it looks like 2.5. Yeah, it looks like 47.5. I'm just going to stick with this. So Seattle, they're both A teams. Seattle with the 14 defense, Frisco with the 22. Again, this is last five, which means I'm only taking the last 5 games and averaging out their offense and defense because they're more meaningful the last 5 than all the games, which 2 or 3 are exhibition games in the beginning. Darnold against Purdy. We know Darnold chokes. So don't be surprised when they lose and you go, oh, yeah, it's Darnold. He chokes. Once a choker, always a choker. 14-2 is a road dog or on the road, and 13-3 overall is Seattle. So Seattle's got the numbers. I think the Niners would be a live dog getting 8.5 in San Francisco in a playoff game, and they've been in the playoffs before. I like the way Purdy is. I like the game over, and I think I like the Niners at 2.5 now. I like the Niners at 8.5. That's too many points to give a home dog and for the number 1 seed. Seattle's not that good. All right, Indy and Houston. Houston 10, 38.5. Indy's a W team with a 29, and they're going to start Riley Leonard. This ain't Notre Dame, and it's not Duke. And Houston's a B team with the 17, going with C.J. Stroud. So Indy's now they were an A team, right? And then boom, and now they're a W team with the 29. They started playing harder teams, and now they're in trouble. Houston, a B team with the 17. Indy's eliminated. Houston needs the game. They're laying 10. Okay, we can live with lean 4. That's probably good. Over under with Riley Leonard, it's probably an under 39. But I think every Houston game I play under. Indy is 9-1 as a road dog. Houston is 10-2 as a home favorite. 31-4 in a teaser. 15-1 the last 2 years. So look for it should be all Houston here. Again, Indy's got nothing to play for, and it's Leonard. And how long are they going to keep Taylor out there, especially with Leonard? So we'll see. This is a strong Houston must win the game. They don't need it for the get into the playoffs, but they are going for the division crown, and that means something. And they're playing Jacksonville, and Jacksonville is up to 13.5. Let's see if that's a true number. There's some 13s. There is a 12.5. Okay, we'll leave it at 12.5. So again, on one side it's 13.5, but on another side it's 12.5. So if you're looking at Jacksonville, you get 12.5. And the total of 47.5. Jacksonville is really a good defensive team. Indy's falling apart, or Tennessee. Tennessee's now a 27 defense, and it's a W team, and 27 defense and Cam Ward. And Jacksonville's an A team with a strong 16 defense. They will probably blow them out. Tennessee's probably pretty weak. Ward against Lawrence. Play against Tennessee 28-5. Play against them on the road this year 6-1. And then Jacksonville this year is 13-3. So again, you're getting the hot team. And the good teams are always you play the teaser. I kept having this one guy tell me, if you pick the winner, you win 85% of the time. Well, that doesn't help you before the game. So I go to him, well, Jacksonville is going to win, so I should bet Jacksonville, right? And he goes, well, no, I don't like it. It's too many points. But you just said it's 85%. So he can't even back his own his own thing. The fuck? Just a second. My thing must have timed out. All right, sorry about that. So He wouldn't like. So I said, well, if you know that Jacksonville's going to win, then you would bet them. Well, too many points. Well, you just said it's 85%. So you're throwing out numbers that are kind of meaningless because we got to bet the game before and it's got to be the right spread and it doesn't mean anything. Picking Jacksonville doesn't mean they're going to cover. They will win the game. Tennessee's not going to beat them. Anyway, this is the problem with people and who just want to get along and just want to get likes and everything. They're just basically idiots. All right, Dallas at the Giants. Dallas 3.5, 49.5, down from 6. Dallas an over team with a 33 defense and Dak. The Giants an E team with a 25 defense and Dart. Play against the Giants 27-6. Dak is starting. He'll probably maybe play the first quarter or first couple of series. You can't trust him, so that screws our over up. This is a game you got to stay away because you really don't know what to do. This is like the bowl games. This would be like Dallas playing the Giants in a bowl game. Why? It's not a playoff game, so why would anybody watch it? Now, this is week 18, but let's say you're doing what college is and you have playoffs and then you have these shit teams in the bowl games and the coaches don't care and the players don't care. And they all sit out, but they sit out late and very few of the players really care. And, well, why do you have the bowl games? If you have the playoffs, it's like the NFL. You have your playoff games, but you don't have the Jets and the Giants in a bowl game. You just have the playoffs. So college needs to just go to the playoffs. They need to have 16 teams in the playoffs and just fight about, and everybody else just sit and watch. All right, here I don't know. Dallas isn't going to try. I think Giants will try with Dart. Dallas with a very weak defense, so even if they play it, they're still suck. Green Bay, Minnesota. We got Minnesota 9.5, 37.5. So I assume here, I believe Willis is not playing. I have to go back to my other site. Here it is. Well, we know J.J. McCarthy will start versus the Packers. They're better off with Browsmer. So we go to J.J. And who's starting? Vikings. All right, let's look at the Packers injury report. Malik Willis is questionable. And Jordan Love. The following players do not have a game status designation will be available to play. So Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed are available to play, but I guess they're not. I don't know. So I don't know if that I have a starter for Green Bay, but I got J.J. McCarthy. Why would the line jump for J.J. McCarthy? He's terrible. I don't get it. So Jordan Love has cleared protocol. But he won't be playing. All right, whatever. We've got Cleveland and Cincinnati. Cincinnati is 7 and 44.5. Cleveland a W team, 24 defense. Prime Junior. Cincinnati a B team, 23. And as far as I know, Burrow and Chase will be playing. Cincinnati's going to kill them because I think Burrow is pissed. Cleveland's pretty bad. They got their win against Pitt last week because Pitt didn't want to get the thing to get his number. He didn't want whatchamacallit to get the sack record. So Rodgers was supposedly throwing the ball real quick. I don't buy that. I don't think Joe Burrow, maybe, I don't know how many he needs, one or two, and then he'll leave the game. I think Burrow will have a big game with Chase. New Orleans, Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to play. New Orleans is going to play him tough. Atlanta's 3.5, 44.5. Shaw against Cousins. New Orleans, a B team with an 18 defense. They're playing pretty good the last 5. Hey, Prophet. Happy New Year to you. No, I had to, because of the holiday, I've had to swim early because the pool was closing today. I had to help Alyssa out. So that, and then I went to get lunch, and then I went to this pool. So I'm doing it now, but I'll be back normal tomorrow and then the rest of the time. It was just because of these holidays. The pool closed at 1:30, and I don't know why. It's like a rec center. Why they would close early for New Year's Eve and New Year's? They should be open like till 6 or something. I thought that was really strange. I don't like the hours here. It's kind of bad, but fortunately, not working, I can get there. So Atlanta, an over team with a 27 defense. New Orleans, a B with the 18. So I like the defense here. I think New Orleans hangs in there, getting 9.5. I think they're gold, Jerry. Shaw's playing well. Cousins is terrible. All right, Philly and Washington. Philly is 4.5, 38.5. Washington's a Z team with the 28. Johnson will be the quarterback. Philly's an under with the 21, and Hurts, I think, is out. That leaves Keegan or something, the backup. I think it's Keegan. So with that, it turns into an under game. So you don't try to figure out. Johnson, we know, sucks on Washington. Keegan, whatever his name is, isn't that good. They're probably just going to run the ball and get the game over with. Their stud defense aren't going to play. So I just see this as a low-scoring game. That's how you read it. When there's no quarterback, how the hell are you going to get a high-scoring game? Miami and New England. New England down to 11.5, or no, up to 11.5. I still got 10.5s and 45.5. Miami an under team, 23 defense, and Ewers against New England, a strong A team, 21, and Drake May. They're going for the 1 seed. Definitely a 10.5, 4.5. Yeah, go jump on New England here. Play against Road Dog, Miami 10-2. New England 15-1 in a teaser. So the teasers are with them. See, some of these you can't really do, like Washington, Philly. You can't really do it because you don't have the same quarterback and the players and everything else. F8, sorry. Yeah, the internet blocked me, but I still have to do football. So I try to do gold and economics and then football. I do both of them. My favorite silver to have, coins or bars. Well, it's definitely coins. I'd much rather have this than a 2-ounce bar. I do have a few 10-ounce bars and a few 5-ounce bars, but at the end of the day, I'd rather have 10 ounces than a 10-ounce bar, because only reason I have the bar is if I want to sell 10 ounces. So let's say 500 an ounce. Now it's worth 500 times 10. It's worth $5,000. But let's say I only want to sell maybe 3 of them. I only want 1,500, and then I know the price will go up, so I don't want to sell all 10. That's the thing about it. But if I have 10 ounces, if I have, well, even these are 2 ounces. So let's say I have 5 of these, gives me 10 ounces. Well, I can sell 2 of them and still have 3 left. If I sell the 10-ounce bar, it's gone. I got to sell all 10. I can't sell 5 of them and say cut it in half. So that's the only thing. Now, if you have, in my mind, if you have a lot, you already have 500 ounces of silver, you can get a 10-ounce bar, something like that. If you just have 50 or 60 ounces, I would recommend buying more 1 ounce or 2 ounces than the 5 and maybe the 5, but the 10. I wouldn't buy the 10 unless you have 500 or so ounces, because you're not going to want to. You're not going to want to sell all 10, because once you let go of it, so it's at 200 and you say I'm going to sell it. Well, once you sell it, it's gone. You're never going to get it back. You got to come up with maybe 250 an ounce. But that's so you want to hold it as long as you can. So maybe you sell 1 or 2 ounces and you go from there. Go Patriots. Yeah, they're going to win. Yeah, the 1 ounce coin. I like the coins. I've always liked the coins over the bars, especially the Costco shit. I don't mess with that. But anyway, yeah, New England, Miami with Urs. All right, he looked good against Tampa last week. He ain't going to look good again. See, now there's tape on him, and now New England will know what he did and stop it. They have too much defense, and Drake May. I can't see him not winning by at least a touchdown or 10 points, more than likely 20. Miami doesn't like the cold weather, which is what you got. Arizona at LA, very strong on LA. They've been playing like shit, so they need to win. Let's see. Where the hell are they? Oh, here they are. Rams are at 8 and 46.5. The key about this game is Arizona sucks. We're betting against Arizona. They're a Z team with a 34 defense. That's why we like the Rams. Now, the Rams have lost 2 in a row. That game against Seattle was bullshit. You can't throw a pass sideways and call it a fumble. Doesn't work. That's just a bullshit call. That's terrible. And then they lose last week to Atlanta because they were probably still pissed off about losing that way. But I look for them to bounce back at home against a very weak Arizona team with the 34 defense, and they'll kill them. They'll kill them. They'll kill them. KC at Oakland. Let's see. KC 5.5, 36.5. Oladakin against Pickett, I guess. Crosby's out, Bowers is out, and they're pretty pissed off. They want the number 1 pick, so they're going to lose on purpose. So I think KC, but the problem is you got Odalanka. I think that takes it to an under 36.5, because Odalanka, he's from South Dakota. He's one of these running quarterbacks. I'm talking college here, and Oakland with Pickett stinks. So again, Oakland is like, don't score. We're gonna punt a lot, So I think this is more of an under game. San Diego, Denver. Now this game I'm really perplexed on. Denver needs the game. San Diego is not playing Herbert. They're playing Trey Lance. So Herbert's out. Trey Lance is playing against Bo Nix. San Diego's a B team with a 17 defense. This is Denver now 12.5, 37.5. Denver's an E team with the 23 defense, the last 5. They played some pretty tough teams. They're very strong. They're 15-1 in a teaser this year. I don't know. I think once San Diego starts resting Herbert for Lance, they start resting all their other players, and they don't care. I think Denver blows them out here. Again, they're playing for the 1 seed, so them and New England are probably very strong plays. But San Diego does bother me, but I think if they were really trying to play, Herbert would play. So by taking Herbert out, you're probably taking your defense out and your running backs out. We don't want to get anybody hurt because that's what Harbaugh seems to be thinking. The Harbaugh brothers are the stupidest coaches I've ever seen. So I think Denver, but it's a big number for Denver. So you got to be quiet on that. Or 37.5, maybe you go under. Maybe they get the lead and just sit on it and off they go. But they're playing for the 1 seed in the bye. So look for Denver. Detroit, Chicago. As far as I know, Detroit's playing their players. Again, the coach is just too stupid. Dan Campbell, everybody thinks he's good. I'm not quite sure why. We got Chicago 3-50.5. Golf against Caleb. Why is Golf playing? I mean, that's ridiculous. Detroit's an over team, but their defense still sucks, 31 defense. And Chicago's a B team with the 21 defense. Their defense is getting better and better. Normally, this would be a lock over. You got two strong offenses. This is going to be cold weather. And the Buffalo game, that's the next game. It's also a cold weather game. Yep, a few of them. I think New England's going to be cold, which Miami won't like. Denver's going to be 65, so that'll be fine. So Chicago, really, you can still get 2.5s. I love Chicago here. Well, this is the free play. Let's give a score. Chicago 41 and Detroit 20. That's my score. The Bears are going to kill them because this is personal. Detroit won the first game like 51-20. Again, the coach not understanding you don't run it up because you're going to piss the other team off. So now Chicago's all pissed. They're playing for the 2 seed, so they get to play Green Bay. They don't want to play the Rams as the 3 seed. Let Philadelphia do that. So Philly obviously knows Chicago's going to beat Detroit, so they're not playing, and they'll play the Rams. Good luck with that one, Philadelphia. But the Bears are pissed at the way the Lions beat them and the coach from Detroit. So this is personal, and the Bears are going to kill them. All right. Buffalo and the Jets. It does look like Josh Allen is playing. Buffalo is 737.5. It's cold weather. You got Brady Cook and the Z Jets. The Jets are a Z team with no defense, 36 defense, and Cook going against Buffalo, a B team with the 21 defense. Josh Allen, even though he's got the hurt ankle, it's like he's playing. Now, I don't know how long he's playing, but I'm sure he'll get the lead and get some points. I don't think you can play it over because I don't know if I think they'll get up enough and then they'll pull him, is my guess. So you got to be a little careful. So this is the problem with this. This is a lock. This would be a normal lock because the Jets are a Z team, 36 defense, and Brady Cook. I mean, there's no way they're going to beat Buffalo at Buffalo. So Buffalo's very strong at home. So I like them. The weather's cold, which should help Buffalo anyway. In our last game, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. We've got Baltimore 4.5, 41.5. And that's because Lamar is playing, which I don't know that that's good. If I'm the coach of Baltimore, I want Huntley out there. I really don't want Lamar. He's never showed anything in big games, so I don't know that I want him out there. 4.5. All right. Now, here's the problem. How do I separate the last week game against Cleveland with the game against Detroit? Okay, so you don't have DK Metcalf. So that's the difference between the Baltimore, when they beat Baltimore and they beat Detroit. So you don't have them. You score 6 points on Cleveland. But was that because of DK Metcalf getting the sack record? Is that because Myles Garrett's getting the sack record? You didn't want him to have it, so you're just throwing the ball early, but you're not going to do that against Baltimore? Are they not able to come up with a second receiver with DK Metcalf out? You don't have another receiver, really? So in my mind, I think that I think you're looking at. Um, I think I think Pitt is a live dog in this game. They're at home. It's for the playoff. It's win or lose. Well, we know how Baltimore is in this. They're usually a choke, especially against a pretty good team. Now, Pitt, as far as I know, TJ Watt's coming back. Um, that emotional, if he plays a quarter, it'd be like Willis Reed coming out in the championship game against the Lakers. He came out. He played. He only played like 2-3 minutes in the game. He had a pulled hamstring. Just got out, and that was it. And then he went back on the bench. So it's not like he played the whole game and gave him a lift. But TJ Watt will be out there. I just don't think that Baltimore is just going to go in and blow him out because Lamar is playing. Lamar's still hurt. He's been hurt for the whole year. This was his back got a cut. His knee and his feet, everything's still bothering him. That didn't get better. He's probably taking the shot, which you didn't want to take, but now it's like, okay, we're paying you $30 million or whatever they're paying him, and this is why you better play. I think they gave him an ultimatum. So now all of a sudden he's better. Well, I'm not buying that. He's not accurate. Pitt sees him enough. They know how to play him. So they see him twice a year. And you got Aaron Rodgers. Okay, DK Metcalf, you're going to have Snackwell catching the balls and the tight ends catching the balls, Fryermuth and everything else. You'll just design different plays. I'm not scared of Baltimore's defense. Henry, yeah, I'm probably a little bit more scared against him, but not terribly if Lamar's out there. So I think this is a close game. This is a cold game in the teens, I think. So this game I'm struggling with, like the Carolina Tampa game. I kind of want to take Carolina as the dog there, but I don't trust it. And I kind of want to take Pittsburgh as the home dog, especially now at 4.5. 10.5, Pitt as a home dog is really attractive, especially with Lamar playing for Baltimore. It's even more attractive. So this is probably the toughest game. I think I'd focus more on New England and Houston and Jacksonville and the Rams. I think that's where you get to is what do I like better than, do I really want to force one of these other games? Go Patriots. Oh, cool. Okay. So that's really what you're looking at is what you kind of rank the teams better or worse. I'm going to come out with how to bet teasers. Maybe I'll do that Monday or Tuesday next week. So the two games tomorrow, Carolina, Tampa, and Seattle, San Francisco. And that's it. Your free play is the Bears. Your free play was Texas. Was Miami of Florida under, and that one. Miami of Florida, Texas Tech was my lock. Which one? I also have a lock Miami with the Bears. So the Bears were your free play. I also played Texas Tech under with Indiana under. So I was really hot on New Year's Day. Now, my one concern is making you pay to watch these games. You're out of your fucking minds. That's the same thing as paying. They think that you want to pay for parking or resort fees in Vegas. And look what happened to them. College football is losing their mind, and pros will be too. You had 5 games on Christmas. None of them are on TV. And it's the same thing here. You had New Year's Day, and you had no games on TV. Yeah, they're on ESPN, but that's not regular TV. So you're losing half your market. Why would you want to lose half your market? Well, ESPN's paying, but doesn't ESPN want to get all the advertising? And they're losing millions of people who are not able to get ESPN or aren't going to pay for it. And they're put it on ABC. Why do you think the Super Bowl is not on pay-per-view? Nobody would watch it. Plus, they're able to sell the advertisement, right? So everybody gets to watch it, and the advertisers pay. So why doesn't ESPN do the same thing with these college playoff games instead of making us pay to watch it? It's fucking ridiculous. So keep an eye on that. Now, we went through next week's playoff. It's Ole Miss against Miami of Florida. I think Miami was a 3-point favorite. And then we have Indiana against Oregon, and Indiana's the small favorite too. Now let's get these lines correct. All right, so we have Miami 3.5, 51.5. Miami playing Ole Miss minus 3.5, 51.5. That seems like a high number in a Miami game, right? And then we've got Oregon and Indiana. And we've got Indiana 447.5. And then we'll have one more game after that. So Miami and Ole Miss. It's not Missouri, it's Mississippi. I don't know about the line, but I do look at the under in this type of game. You always bet defense over offense. If you have a really good offense and you have a really good defense, and let's go back to Super Bowl Marino against Montana, and you have Dan Marino and Joe Montana, and it ended up where Marino got like 10 points or whatever. The good defense will always beat the good offense 100% of the time, because they put pressure on, and then usually what happens is the other side of the ball, like the Niners, will run it down their throat and keep the ball away, and Marino can't do anything about it, or Dan Fouts, and they just keep the ball, and then they end up where they start passing, and they don't rest the defense, and that's why the defense wins. So you got to give the edge to Miami, and then Oregon, Indy. I think there you take Indy. I was listening to some guy in BetMGM today, and he's trying to make a case that the Oregon quarterback's any good. And I'm like, this guy sucks. This guy's not good. Now, the Indiana quarterback looked good. The Miami, Carson Beck ain't going anywhere. And then the Ole Miss, don't sell me. He's good. Oh, he's one of these athletic quarterbacks, so he's good. Well, if you just blitz him, he's nothing. Georgia had him contained most of the game. So Chambliss, I think. I'm not buying Chambliss. To me, he's Anthony Richardson, and he sucks. So that's what you got in college, which is, I think, next Thursday. We'll talk more about that next week. But anyway, so your free pick tomorrow actually on Sunday is the Bears to murder Detroit. Detroit with the 31 defense. We make most of make most of my bets based on the defense. So when I look at the weak defenses, Indy's a 29 defense against Houston. So I like Houston to lay. I got Tennessee at 27 defense against Jacksonville, so I like that. I've got Atlanta with a 27 defense, and Atlanta and New Orleans with an 18. That's why I like New Orleans. Miami's pretty good defense. It's a 23 against New England. Arizona's a 34, so I like Stafford to get right against that. I've got Detroit a 31 defense, so that's why I like the Bears. The JETSs have a 36 defense against Buffalo, so I'm hoping Josh Allen plays, lights up 3 or 4 touchdowns, then he can go. Then you're fine. Give me 28-0, then you can leave. But that's how you do it. You attack the weak defenses. That's the critical part of that. That's why do you think? Look at my bets last week: Miami and Ohio State under. Easy under, and then you had Texas Tech and Oregon under, easy under, and you had Indiana and Alabama under, easy under. I didn't fuck with Georgia. I thought about the over. I couldn't play them under, so it was like they had played a high scoring game, but I ended up taking Georgia even, which should have won, but bad play calling. You know, they didn't really play a good game, Georgia. They don't really have the running. Prophet, you're back. Mendoza is by far the best quarterback I've seen so far in these bowl games because you haven't seen Daggio Pavia in the bowl. I thought you were going to watch that bowl game with Vanderbilt and Iowa. I haven't seen it yet, but Daggio, to me, Daggio is the best quarterback, but he's not in the playoff. Where, yes, in the playoff, Mendoza. Well, if you look at it, Ohio State's Sailor is no good. Like Alabama, they were both freshmen. They weren't going to do anything. Miami's Carson Beck's nothing. Oregon, I can't even remember his name. Texas Tech, Norton didn't do much. Mendoza looked good. Old Miss, Chambliss just ran around. It was like backyard football. And then Georgia, that guy wants to run too much. I didn't understand Georgia's offense at all. Mendoza looks good. I don't say that. I would take Pavia because he wins the games, but Mendoza might be like that. We'll see. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. I saw the first half of that game, but Pavia got sacked 4 times. Well, you can't blame Pavia for that, but he came back in the second half. So watch the second half of the game. But if you really want to watch it, go watch the Tennessee game when Vanderbilt played him and he lit him up. Or the second half of the Texas game when they were down and he threw for 3 touchdowns. He's very accurate. He's built, so he's very hard to tackle. He's a good runner, but he's not a runner. He's a quarterback, right? There's a difference. Lamar's a runner. He's not a quarterback. Pavia is a quarterback. So that's what I like. That's what Devin Dampier at Utah is. If you get a chance to watch him, you go, wow. So we'll see. Maybe he's coming to Michigan. Michigan will be Utah. Then they'll be good. All right, so that's your thing. So Carolina, Tampa, it's a hard. I think you got to bet Carolina and the 9, but I don't think they can win. Or possibly go under because Baker's injured. And they just haven't been scoring lately. I mean, they're averaging 15, 16 points a game the last 5 games. They're not doing anything. Carolina, yeah, you got young. They seem to be running the ball more with a good defense. I think this will be a close game, and I think it'll be low scoring. Seattle, Frisco, I actually think this will be high scoring. And 2.5, I think I like Frisco, but I my guess is Kittle's not playing or somebody isn't playing, so the line move, but it's always overvalued. As long as you have McCaffrey out there, you're fine. I think the Niners are a live dog because of Darnold, and I think you can go over in the game at 47. You go over 41. It's 21-20. You telling me the Niners ain't getting the 21? Yeah. We saw the Bear game. The Bears have a 21 defense. Also, Seattle's, is it really a 14? I don't think so. So that's what you have. So again, the 1 seed should be Denver, and I'm not sure Seattle beats Frisco. That's kind of a toss-up game. Seattle to go on the road at Frisco, at a good Frisco team. This isn't like they're playing Miami or Tennessee, like Jacksonville is. This is you're playing the Niners. So I don't know. I think they'll have a way to score on them. We watched the Rams light up Seattle in that crazy game. So I think this is high scoring. I know Seattle's got a 14 defense, but I'm not buying that San Francisco can't score and only gave 14. So I think that's the way you play those two tomorrow. Houston should get the win. Jacksonville should get the win. Cincinnati, I think, comes on strong. New England, yeah. The Rams will kill Arizona. Denver, I'm a little worried about because San Diego's pretty strong. And I think 12.5, you're just laying too many points. Chicago kills Detroit. Buffalo should kill the Jets. depending on how long Allen plays, and then Baltimore Pitt, I think it comes down to the end, 23-20 or something like that. It's going to be cold, but I don't know. You got to kill Aaron Rodgers, right? I think he'll have a big day. Yeah, they're missing DK Metcalf. Yeah, that was a bullshit. The suspension. He didn't do anything. He was provoked, and you're not taking that into because that fan should be thrown out and put in jail for provoking the player. Should the player have come over? Probably not. But as I gave you my Frank Thomas story, uh, this is baseball, and Frank came over to the stands to sign autographs. What if I call him a name or say, "Oh, I hate Auburn. I'll go Alabama"? And he might have been upset, right? But I didn't provoke him. But he was coming over to sign autographs, and that's really what DK Metcalf was. He went over to autograph that yellow shirt, and then the guy kind of lied to him and said, "Oh, I'm not really a Steeler fan. I'm a Lion fan," and so he provokes him, but the intent was the same as Frank Thomas. Oh, you want an autograph? So with Frank Thomas, that was great. So I don't know about that. I think it's bullshit. Anyway, these bowls have to go. I think you have a playoff. You have a 16-team playoff where you do it like college basketball, where you have 64, and now you have 10 teams in a play-in. I think that's getting a little bit much, but I think you have a 16-team playoff. Where you can pair it into 8s and 4s and 2s, and I think that's what you have to do. No buys, just 1 to 16, and you're going to have. Then you're down to 8, then you're down to 4, 2, 1. So it's about the same as you got now. And then you just kill the bowl games. There's no reason to have a bowl game. Nobody cares about Kennesaw State, Missouri State, Texas State was today, and okay, Tennessee, Illinois, maybe USC. Anybody care? They don't. The players don't even care. The players aren't even playing. The coach bolt out to the new team. Please explain what the point of these bowl games are. It's just what, TV money. It's people are going on vacation. You're going to Nashville, Tennessee to watch. You're going to Boston to see the Fenway Park game. So Bobby Orr can be at the scoreboard. I heard Bobby Orr stays behind the scoreboard and he watched because he's kind of shy and he kind of likes his privacy. So he doesn't want to sit in the seat. There's a million guys, sort of like what Sandy Koufax, where he was right behind the plate, and I'm sure he had a lot of people wanting autographs. But Bobby Orr would just stay behind the green monster, and he just checks out from the scoreboard. Classy guy, Bobby Orr. But that's there's no reason for bowl games. They were vacations, but now they're not, and now it's just have a 16-team playoff. And again, it's like the NFL. All right, we're going to have our playoff. We're going to have 14 teams, and the rest of you go home, go play golf, go get out of here. That's what college should do. You got 132 teams. You don't need 30 bowl games that are meaningless, that the players don't even want to play. The coaches don't want to coach. It's not even on TV. Most of them are on ESPN. What a stupid contract that is. ESPN must be losing their ass because they can't get anybody, and nobody is going to pay to watch on ESPN. I'm sorry. I don't like this pay TV shit. Profit. With the new format, 7 of the 8 teams getting the bye in the last 2 years ended up losing, except Indiana. Well, I'm not sure. Well, look who got the bye last year. SMU and the other weak team, right? So you had some pretty weak teams getting the byes, not Ohio State and Penn State. Those teams didn't get byes. Notre Dame didn't get a bye. So it was really weird the way they did it. Now this year, Ohio State just ran into Miami. And Indiana played Oregon. Did Oregon get a bye? I mean, because they're playing each other, right? So you can't really use that this year because 4 winners played the 4 byes, but the winners, this was pretty equal, right? So I don't know about that, but in the NFL, uh, the Colts always fucked up because Peyton Manning, they'd be 12-0 and they'd sit the last 2 games or 3 games, and then they'd have the week off, and then he'd play, and he's rusty, and he doesn't have any timing, and they would always lose. I always noted that the team, like the team that won, that clinched, but then didn't play their starters in the last week, and then had the bye, so they really were 3 weeks off. Always lost their first game. Football is a sport you cannot worry about injury, and you don't sit your players. You can't just turn the timing on. And so San Diego's going to, I bet San Diego loses whoever they play next week because you cannot turn it off. And Philadelphia is going to struggle. Denver's fortunate. Denver, Jacksonville, New England, because they play for the 1 seed, so they're all playing. Houston has to win. So look for those teams to do really good in the playoffs. The Rams will play, so they'll do good. Philly, I don't think Philly's going to turn it on. Jalen Hurts sucks anyway. If anybody needs the action, is Jalen Hurts for Philly. But so a lot of these teams are in good shape. I'll be interested to see what Cincinnati does next year with Joe Burrow. He's getting pissed. Like, okay, you have me and you're not making the playoffs. Wait a minute. Now he's been getting hurt. So we'll see what happens. But I don't like the coach at all on Cincinnati. I never liked Ray Lewis or Marvin Lewis. I thought he was a terrible coach, but this guy is terrible. I don't know where you got him from. I mean, he led him to the Super Bowl, and he should never have lost that when you got Joe Burrow, right? But we will see. But the teams that have to play to get in, as I mentioned, will do very well. Seattle and Frisco, they'll do very well. And the Rams, like I said, Philly will probably get killed because they're not playing. The Rams will play a little. Chicago's playing. So look for Philly to go out in the first round. And then Baltimore, Pittsburgh, the winner, they're playing. So the winner will have a big advantage going into the next week. But that's football. Again, I don't like this pay to watch. Like, what the fuck were you doing Christmas Day with the 3 games on Netflix and then the 2 games on Saturday? So nobody watched 5 games, basically. What is that? Well, Amazon paid us $10 million to show the games, but they're not getting fans. I don't have Paramount. I'm not going to pay to get Paramount for 1 game. I wouldn't pay to get Paramount for the whole year. You've got to be fucking kidding. There's no way you pay to have Paramount or Apple TV or Amazon TV. I love these Apple. What is Apple and Amazon doing with TV in the first place? But there's no way I'm going to pay for that. So you're showing games that nobody's seeing. What is the point? What are you doing? You're pulling a Vegas. Oh, we'll charge for resort fees. People will pay for that. No, they won't. Nobody wants resort fees or parking. Nobody wants it. It's not a market. You better find your market, NFL, because you're fucking it up. Nobody wants to see 5 minutes. Nobody wants to see 25 penalties, 5 minutes for replay challenges, for injury timeouts for 5 minutes. Nobody wants to see that shit. There shouldn't even be an instant replay. And you certainly shouldn't replay every fucking play where the refs don't make a call. Well, we'll see what replay says. You can't do that. You're risking injury to people in the play. If it's an incomplete pass, the guy's running it back, pulls a hamstring, and then play that. It was a fumble. It was an incomplete pass. I mean, it's just ludicrous. And nobody wants to see it. Anyway. So we are in January 2nd, and we are in 2026. It's incredible. See, here I'm not having internet problems, so I don't know what happened. First time I came on, I got it right away after 10 seconds, so I just kill it. But yeah, I can't explain it. I mean, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I know they're working on our cable. Uh, who knows? Anyway, so that's what we got. So good luck. I'll be on tomorrow morning. We'll go through the new lines and is Josh Allen playing? We should get a better update. We know Lamar's playing, which I personally think Huntley should be the quarterback. Lamar should be the wide receiver, just like the Steelers with and Anton Randall L and the other guy who I can't think of, the quarterback from Georgia, Hines Ward. That's what Lamar should be. He should be one of these fast wide receivers that once in a while you let him throw a pass. He ain't a quarterback, and we've seen it, and now we're seeing it. Now he's always hurt. You've paid him way too much money. You've totally fucked yourself. You get guys injured. It's just stupid. Anyway, the Lions won't be good again for 10 years because now they're getting decent, which means they're not drafting 1 and 2 and 3 like they were the first few years. So they can't get those level of players and drafting 20th. And now the GM you're seeing is not a good GM. The coach you're seeing is not a good coach. It was really the offensive coordinator. He got lucky that he was a good offensive coordinator, but he's not good. He doesn't understand the fourth downs. Their defense sucks. You've had 30-point defenses the last 3 years. You can't win without defense. Don't these idiots know that? So they draft a running back. They got 2 running backs, and then they got 2 receivers. You don't need that. You need quarterbacks and you need defensive linemen before you go after a second running back and a second receiver. What is wrong with you? So that's the thing. These teams just don't know what they're doing. But I see it all. My phone's dying, so I want to show you that idiot thing. I'll show that tomorrow, which is basically saying how everybody's being dumbed down. They're not being able to think. So everybody just takes things on whatever. Oh, it's today's Tuesday. Oh, okay. No, it's really Thursday. I don't know where this is coming from. So you're challenging the narrative, sort of like what's going on in silver. Why is it 72? And Mr. Fuji, the AI guy, is trying to explain it, but it doesn't make sense because if silver is 130 in Japan, then it's 130? You don't have 10 prices for silver. You got one price. So that's where you're critically thinking. You're thinking what's going on. You're challenging. Did we really land on the moon? I don't think so. Well, that's critical thinking. They don't want that. They just want you to accept it. We went on the moon. Oh, inflation's 2%. Okay, I guess it is. Oh, look at the stock market. It's 48,000. Oh, look at silver. It's 72. Just accept everything for what it is and don't think about it. Don't challenge it. It's just a bunch of idiots. And that's what we're becoming. Not us, because we have brains in our heads, but most people. You sit in the hot tub, you start talking gold or silver, and it's like you're talking Chinese. Nobody understands you. Oh, no, gold and silver, you don't want to buy that. And they don't, but they don't know why. And they're in stocks, but they don't know why. Well, I'm supposed to be in a 401k, and they're matching at 5%. So I'm supposed to be doing that. So I'm doing that. Yeah. When the market crashes, then what happens? Oh, it won't crash. It's 48,000. Yeah, because it's manipulated and the government's printing money to put it in. The government, they just had to put in $42 million for these Ponzi scheme of comex, the banks that are caught short. Where are they getting that money from? Oh, they're printing it. Oh, and that must be worth nothing. You can't just print $42 billion like that, and then you print $1 trillion for the $39 trillion debt. You can't just keep printing money. It doesn't work that way. So it's just amazing. But nobody questions it because nobody's smart enough to question it. Me and you sit there and go, oh, hell, I'm buying gold and silver. They're printing $42 billion bailout, $1 trillion for this, and all the money they print every month to pay the government employees. The money's worthless. We we figured that out. We questioned that. That's what makes the money worthless. You keep printing it. You can't keep printing it. But we see we're critically thinking that. They're not. They're not. Most people are just, oh, I don't know. Well, if they say, if the government says, I'll just go along with it. No, you're a fucking idiot. Why would you just go along? They're a bunch of crooks. Everyone in the government's a crook, and it's so corrupt. And you're going to listen to these people? And you're so stupid you don't want to challenge it? You don't even know to challenge it, do you? Profit. The delay is too long for the buy teams. Well, only when they if they sit out the last week. So you have what Philadelphia's sitting out. Now they don't have a bye, but if here you have unique, the one seeds are playing because they don't have the one seed wrapped up yet. So Seattle's got to play 49ers. So they're playing, and the same thing with Denver and New England and Jacksonville. They all have to play because they're still up for the one seed. So they won't have the bye. I don't think a 1 week bye is bad. It gets your players healthy. In fact, normally it's fine. You wanted the bye, like Brady always did well with the bye. Only Manning, but he was a choker anyway. He wasn't a winner. He was a choker. I meant for the college playoffs. Well, the college playoffs is ridiculous. Again, it's based on Christmas and New Year's and everything else. So they give a few weeks by. What's with the conference championship games? Oregon wasn't even in the conference championship game, so they're starting out. Ohio State did play Indiana. Then they had a couple of weeks, and then they had a bye last week. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think it always hurt Michigan in the Rose Bowl. They always had a month off, and then let's go to a Rose Bowl and try to win against a good USC team. And USC, it cracked me up, was like on their home field or in LA playing at the Rose Bowl. And Miami Hurricanes were always on their home. Well, they beat Nebraska in that thrilling game with Howard Schnellenberger. That was their home field. And then they beat Oklahoma. They're on their home field. I would bet them just because they were playing at home. It was such an unfair advantage. So that's the problem. And you're going to have that in the pros. If Frisco wins, they're going to be at home the whole playoffs and the Super Bowl. It's ridiculous. You should never have the Super Bowl. There's got to be an alternative. Like here are the Niners, so I would have the alternative. Well, you're going to play in the Rose Bowl or play it. Well, not in Oakland, but you know what I mean. Play at Houston or play in New Orleans. If the Niners get there, then let's play in New Orleans. And if they don't, then we'll play in San Francisco. But you can't make it where they're at home. It's ridiculous. Brady was at home, and then and Stafford was at home. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, so I disagree with this pay TV. I think that's what's killing Vegas. People thinking there's a market for parking your car and resort fees and $30 liquor. It's like I told the guy at the Toyota. I'm basically running the Toyota dealership, and the guy, I bought a Camry for $24,000 in 2018, and now it's about 25,000, 26, and he marks it up to 35. And I do this to him. I go, the market's here at 25, and you're trying to sell it at 35. Who are you selling it to? You can't just make any price. You have to make a price at the market. So he didn't even understand that. This is a fucking sales manager. And that's basically what you're doing with silver right now with these with this whole comex. We'll price it at 72. Okay, I'll buy it. Well, we don't really have any physical. Well, how can you price it at 72 if you don't have physical? Physical is all gone. It's costing 139 in Japan. So who are you kidding? 72. You can't do 72. And Mr. Fuji, the AI guy, sitting there going, well, they're never gonna just bail out, so it's not gonna be that. I go, you don't understand. It's what the market bears. If the market needs silver, they're gonna go to the place where there's silver. They're gonna choose the market that has the silver because they need to buy it. And they're not gonna go, nobody's gonna pay attention to comex, and comex will go broke. That's how it's gonna work. And so that's why it's a struggle listening to an AI guy because he can't think like that, right? He can't think rationally. And but you see it in Vegas. They're trying to sell to no market. You see Tesla, they're trying to sell. There's no demand for electric cars. Not in the US, maybe in China, because in China, they're probably with all these regulations and it's communist, you probably have so many all this, it's probably so expensive to buy to import a BMW or a Mercedes or something. So the electric cars are probably very cheap there. So that's why it works there. But again, there's no market here for electric cars. Nobody wants one. Nobody asked for it. So again, you can only do what the market wants. And you can only charge what the market will pay. You cannot charge $30 for a New York strip. It isn't going to work. And the same thing. So now Trump's taking all the silver out of the market, saying it all has to go to defense because we don't have enough supply. What are you going to do? Shut down all your industries and your economy because you don't have silver, you can't build a computer or a phone. Okay, Apple, you can't have any more silver. You can't build the iPhone. What do you think Apple's going to do? They're going to leave the country because if they can't do it here, they got to go to they'll go to China or India or somewhere to build their phones because they need the silver. So they'll move, and so you're killing your own industry. You're not going to get anybody to give you their silver. They're just going to move out. God. Anyway, that's the lesson is you can only sell to a market. And I'm showing you all these examples. College football. What the fuck are you doing? You're not showing these games on TV. I didn't watch any of the games yesterday because I don't have ESPN. So I waited. When they're over, I'm on YouTube watching the games in 20 minutes. And it was pretty interesting. I just watched the Georgia game today, and it was like, I don't know how they lost, and I don't buy that Mississippi's that good or that their quarterback's that good. I don't think he did anything. He scrambled around. I thought I was watching like CJ Stroud run around and throw or Drake May. These guys aren't any good. So that's what we have. Anything else, boys? Yeah, college playoffs. Any you want is we're opening an ice cream store. We want as many customers as we can get. We don't chase them around. Oh, sorry, only people that want chocolate. But then again, this is Comex. So we're opening an ice cream store, but we don't have any flavors. We don't have any ice cream. So people come in, I want a chocolate, I want a vanilla, I want a and we don't have any. Are they coming back? No. Well, that's Comex. Well, I need silver. Well, we don't have any. We can't. Oh, we'll give you money. We don't have. We need the silver. We want delivery. How long are they going to keep going back to Comex before it's gone? So that's why I gave you maybe a month. But at the end of the day, these people need silver to make their products, and we need silver to get out of the dollar. So it's not going to be okay. Well, we'll just take it. No, that's not going to happen. Anyway, so have a good Friday night. Sorry I'm on a little late, but that's the beauty of the video. You can see it. Yesterday, the only reason I came on was I see this idiot saying, silver's 130 in Japan, but it was totally meaningless. I thought, oh, okay, today we'll see Comex open at 130. No, it was 72, 73. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is he talking about then? Don't tell me silver's 130 in Japan. It's meaningless. Pat told us it was 85 in Singapore. Well, it was meaningless because that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at the paper Ponzi scheme, and that price is 72, and that's what the dealers are looking at. If I go to the to my store to cash in, he's going to give me 72. He's not going to give me 130. So shut the fuck up, Mr. Fuji, please. Don't say things that aren't true or you have no idea or you don't know what their meaning is, because that's a false statement. The Japan silver's one. Is that a regular price? Can I get 130? No. So then shut the fuck up. So I apologize for that, because we know silver's going to the moon and we know gold's going to the moon. So it's just a matter of when, and we got to be patient. And all I can say is keep buying. Like I said, that was my Christmas present, where before I'd buy 10 ounces for 300 and now I got 5 ounces for 350. So whatever, what are you going to do? But I did buy more. So I was happy about that. All right. I think that's it. So we'll be on with, take a look at football tomorrow. We'll start getting into the football playoffs probably more on Monday. And then we'll go through the NFL playoffs on Monday. I do have 2 locks going in the pros. I gave you one of them was Miami with the Bears. So the Bears are a lock. I love it. I just have a very strong feeling the Bears are going to kill Detroit, because Detroit put up 50 and they're going to be pretty pissed about that. So look for the Bears to run it down the Lions' throat. How strong the Lions play in a meaningless game, I don't know. We'll see. They did play before. They did beat Green Bay in a meaningless game a couple of years ago, but they were trying to prove themselves. No, I don't know. And basically, the defense sucks. All right, I think that's it. So www.teaserking.com. You can get this weekend's locks, $75 for the pros. And then we can go from there. So we're going into the playoffs and both things. So have a good day. Real quickly. So I have Ron's a customer. So I had put down the Texas Tech Miami lock last week on the site. And I think I it was for this week, but I posted it early. As soon as I saw the line, I says, I'm putting it in before the line moves. And the line did move. And so it was Texas Tech under, Miami under. That was a 30-star lock. And he buys this week and he goes to me, well, what about that Texas Tech and Miami? I go, that was for yesterday. That's why I put it out there so you would know I've already bet it for next week. So, like, if I were to play the Miami, Indiana, let's say I put that in a teaser and I posted it tonight, well, it's for next week. But I'm telling you now, since you already have the picks, that's one of my picks, bet it early. Now, I haven't played that one. I don't know what I'm going to do next week yet, but that was the idea. So he was a little confused going, well, wait, I thought that was for last week. I go, they didn't play that. This was, I posted it, but I'm just posting it. Then I deleted it and I put it in this week's plays because it's by the week. So I posted them Saturday and then Sunday, Monday, and then I deleted it and put it in Tuesday into this week's, but I'd already really posted it. Anyway, so that's just be aware. I go week by week, but I will, in a situation like that, I might post the game. Monday for next week's NFL playoffs if I like the spread and I like everything, instead of waiting. I don't like to wait. If I see I know what I'm going to do, and if I see a good line, I'm going to jump on the line, not necessarily wait. I very rarely wait for the day of the game to bet it unless I'm waiting on an injury. So keep that in mind also. Anyway, that's what's happening. So have a good day. And again, we'll definitely see silver run. There's no supply and there's huge demand. So no matter what, wherever it's going to be priced, it'll be $400 or $500 an ounce. I mean, it's just that's where it's headed. And gold's headed to 10,000. We'll see 5,000 soon, but it's going to keep going because the BRICS countries are wanting to back it by gold, need a higher price because there's too much they got to print. So they need a higher gold price to do it. So both gold and silver are going to the moon. Just hold it. Do not sell it. Do not listen to Mr. Fuji's or people like that. You come here, bring your questions. You buy this and you hold it. And that's the key. Just hold on to it and let it go. That's what you're trying to do. All right. I will see you tomorrow morning. I'll definitely be on about 11, www.teaserking.com. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.